Minneapolis Monday. How about that? Going for a little walk on a lunch break here. Doing a live stream and showing you this this gorgeous day in downtown Minneapolis. Currently outside Government Center, Government Plaza, Minneapolis City Hall. Absolutely beautiful day here in downtown. Just been kind of trucking away this morning, and right before I walked out, I saw a new piece of news from the Star Tribune that the Minneapolis Downtown Council has pulled the plug on funding and hosting the aquatennial celebration every summer and the holidazzle in the winter. So interested to see what comes next with those two events. Obviously both very popular events in Minneapolis that people enjoy, people come to visit to see. Got the Blue Line train with the Lake Street wrap on it right now. Yeah, I know a lot of the old-time Minneapolis people have very different memories of holidazzle than I do. But I've been going for a few years now, and visited when it was on Nicollet Mall last year and a couple years before that, and then when it was in Loring Park for a few years too. I enjoyed it in Loring Park probably the most, but I understand the goal is to bring people downtown. And they used to have this parade that people used to love, and everyone would make their annual trek downtown and visit all the downtown shopping during the holidazzle. And I think that gave some people some unrealistic expectations and perceptions of downtown, to where you're visiting on the busiest day of the year when shoulder to shoulder people going to the it was Macy's or Dayton's had some sort of 9th floor display. People going to see that, going to see the holidazzle parade. And yeah, I think a lot of people, when they think of downtown Minneapolis, they think of those events that used to be really popular and really well attended. And then that probably wasn't even the norm on a regular day, though, because, you know, a regular work day is going to have significantly less people. But now we have significantly less retail altogether. So we'll see if that holidazzle comes back in a different form or in a different way. Hopefully it does. Aquatennial. Can't say I ever made it out to that one, but I know people enjoyed it. I know they did fireworks for it. I think they had like a pretty big fireworks show that they would do over the river, which is fun. But when you do fireworks, I think that's like a mid-July event, second or third weekend in July. So if you're doing fireworks 2 weeks before for 4th of July, you really need this big second fireworks show a few weeks later? I don't think so. Maybe space them out a bit. We are heading up 5th towards US Bank Stadium. Currently walking by the Armory, which used to be an armory, and used to, after that was a a basketball stadium for the Minnesota Timberwolves, or not Minnesota Timberwolves, the Minnesota Lakers, long before the Timberwolves. EO says hello, clapping for a dove, got a selfie hand and a blue heart. Yeah. I think there is a Vikings game here this Sunday. They had the week off this weekend. I think it's a pretty big one against Philadelphia, who's supposed to be good. Yeah, maybe I'll stream around a Vikings game sometime this year. Paul McCartney's gonna be at US Bank Stadium on Friday. Tickets for that are an absolute steal. I was looking at some of their resellers and they're like $30 to get in. See an icon, legend there. Joseph Gregorio says, can you please walk by Sooline? Probably towards the end, so maybe like 45 minutes or so. I'll shoot to go there. I'm going the opposite direction right now. But I will, I'll try to go by there before I get back to work. Should not be too much of an issue. Commons Park. All sorts of stuff, events that they have here. Movies in the park. Different activations, bag toss, all kinds of stuff. Quiet today though. Something going on here.
East Ave or go ahead some connection.
She's Alexis from
Oh, maybe an event for Indigenous Peoples Day. I don't know though. US Bank Stadium light rail stop. All sorts of fun stuff going on out here whenever there's a big event at the stadium. I've only been to a handful of the actual football games there, but a couple concerts. Sometimes I'll come down here and just see what kind of free stuff they're giving out. Haven't made it out this year yet. Washington Avenue. This building here, I think 700 Park, was, if you look at the older videos, it was built within the last few years. You have to watch that come up throughout the history of walking Minnesota here. Trying to think if I have time to walk over to Cedar Riverside. I'd be cutting it close. Sean, good day from Bemidji. Hey, hope you're having a good one up there. I think I heard it was supposed to be raining up there today, or maybe that was yesterday. Hope you're staying dry if so. I know there was like a nasty cold front across the Dakotas. Hasn't quite hit here yet. Still haven't made it up to Bemidji. One of these days. Sean says chilly up there in the 40s. Nice seasonal. Probably a little warmer than normal here. I think it's like mid 50s, maybe 60s. Not bad, but warmer than I'd expect this time of year. There's the downtown Minneapolis Trader Joe's. Painted on Viking schedule, huh? Like the Moxie Hotel. Down this way and then go the opposite direction, but I'm definitely not going to make it to Cedar Riverside today. Someday I'll walk quickly and book it from the office to that area. I'm trying to do stuff other than just walking along Nicollet Mall. Thought about going up to Hennepin, but got distracted by a light rail train. Mahoney's. I think I went into that bar at one point before a company I was working for did a Vikings game. Did a trip to a Vikings game. I think they had us meet there before the game. Could be wrong though. There's something around here. The spot I used to like in this area is gone. It was at Grumpy's, which still has a location in Northeast, but there was a downtown Grumpy's too that unfortunately the building was sold, I think, and they built a apartment complex there, and Grumpy's did not come back, which is too bad. So last week when I was streaming, I think it might have been Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't remember which day of the week it was. The guy just scared that woman. Just like ran up behind her. Gotta be mindful of that, okay? But yeah, I was, because someone was asking about what the best bookstores to visit in Minneapolis are. And this one here, Open Book. It's like the Open Book Center that has the Minneapolis Center for Book Arts. There's Milkweed Books. There's a coffee shop here. Definitely a must-visit stop for the book lovers in the area. Not on Mondays though. Closed Monday. Well, the coffee shop's open, but Milkweed is closed Monday. And then the rest of the buildings. Oh no, looks like it might. It's like a whole book museum in there. Lots of old stuff. I think if you're looking for more than just a bookstore, where there's like a lot of different stuff to do, a lot of different stuff to see, and you're doing like one stop, that would be the one. Lots of cool prints. Teaching a child not to step on a caterpillar is as valuable to the child as it is to the caterpillar. They're hosting soon, which are illegible from the video here. There we go. Yeah, Open Book, Minneapolis Center for Book Arts, Milkweed Books, Fragment Coffee right there. That's definitely worth checking out for the book lover. And they used, I don't know if they still do, at one point they had one of those little machines that you can walk up and print it'll print out a poem for you. So it's like a poem vending machine. Kind of cool. You can get it in, you pick your like size if you want the 2-minute read, the 5-minute read, or the 10-minute size, and it'll print you out something according to what you ask for. But I don't know if they still do. to veer off the path to show this mural at the McKnight Foundation. I don't know what the McKnight Foundation does. They've got a cool loon mural. All kinds of interesting stuff around here. Dwayne says, hello everyone, it's Canada's Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving to the Canadians. Yeah. It's Canadian Thanksgiving Day, Indigenous Peoples Day in the U.S. Some places celebrate Columbus Day. And judging by the foot traffic downtown, in the Skyway, the office area at least, a lot of people are still just working. But it's picking back up. Maybe as more people return to office, that is part of why the downtown council has shifted their priorities away from hosting the holidazzle event. And that I don't know how many people were here at the beginning, but when we first started streaming, I started discussing that the downtown council has decided to no longer host the holidazzle or aquatennial event. And with that, I think in the Star Tribune piece that they wrote about it, I think it also included that they're moving away from events as a whole, and that they had cut 3 of their event planning staff. I don't know if that was their entire event planning team or just part of it. Cutting headcount at the Minneapolis Downtown Council. Is that a sign that the Downtown Council believes Minneapolis is back where they want it to be? Or is it a sign that they believe it's a lost cause? Or somewhere in the middle? Or neither? I don't know. I do think events like the holidazzle, aquatennial parade, those sort of things are important. Dro on the go. Hello, Dro. There are a lot of people that have strong feelings about these Minneapolis-based events that are, as some say, catered to people from outside the cities to come. I think a thriving city needs to be able to attract people for short-term events like that too, beyond just a baseball game. First Resource Bank is closed. Most of the banks are going to be closed today. As it is a bank holiday. downtown Trader Joe's. One of a few grocery stores left in the downtown area. You got the Trader Joe's. You got the Target on Nicollet Mall. Or Whole Foods. And then plenty of options over in Northeast and other. Not a ton down here. One thing Minneapolis is lacking is like the corner produce stand type store. Where a lot of other cities you'll have like the bodega type spot where you walk into the corner store and can grab some fruit, some produce. Just the necessary items. Not as much the like large scale grocery stuff, but I think that's something that's lacking here. But someone was saying the other day that I saw it on Blue Sky. I don't remember who I saw making this noticing this or making this claim, but they pointed out that Minneapolis has a very, or not Minneapolis, but Minnesota as a whole has a very weak walking culture, to where people don't want to walk a block to a business. They want to have a parking lot. People don't really walk places here as much as in a lot of other cities, and I don't know if that's just habit forming because of the cold in the winter or what. But I think that could kind of be what hurts the ability to have those small grocery stores or those small produce stores where you walk 2-3 blocks to go grab some fruit or veggies or some items for your meal of the day and then cook it up. That's one thing I do really miss is those corner produce markets. Dwayne says, I like outdoor markets. I do too. I love the farmers markets, love outdoor markets and stuff like that, but not really feasible year round here unless we were to cover it half the year or 6 months of the year, 3 months of the year, whatever, which I think we should consider. Like, can you imagine if, I understand it's an event space now and it's already owned, but this place here, the depot on the other side, the old train station, like if instead of that being an event space or hotel or whatever they have in there, I've never been in there, being honest. I know they had I think they had a skating rink back there one time, I don't know. But if that was like a European style market to where you had all these different stalls, different food vendors, different produce in one area, this stuff functions in other cities. We gotta ask, why not here? Why can't we do it? Figure out what it is, what the reason might be, and find a solution. You know, there's a lot of people in the metro area. We're not like the largest metro area in the country, but we can definitely sustain. No reason to believe that we can't have something like that. Even if it was like indoor, outdoor, where just this like outdoor space on the end was used during the summer, and they did something else out there in the winter, like I don't know, warming huts of some sort, and then the indoor area was that market. Here I am again, making plans for land use that is not for sale and not available, as far as I know. I know they try to do a seasonal European style holiday market in on North Loop Green. I'm interested to see how that goes this year, because it went fairly well last year. It was some of the similar events that they had at the St. Paul European Christmas Market. but it was packed in there. It was very tight, very busy. I love to see the success, and I hope that that continues. I'd be interested to see what the future holds and if that outgrows itself. There is a balance between when an event becomes too big for itself. Like the giant pencil sharpening. Is that becoming too big for itself? I haven't looked too much at where people are watching these videos from over the last few months, but I used to look at it a bit. I haven't paid a ton of attention. So I don't know how in tune with Minneapolis stuff everyone is, but there's this, every summer, this person with this really nice, I don't know if it's a mansion or just a nice home, whatever, on Lake of the Isles, has they have this giant pencil in their front yard, and they host a pencil sharpening event every year. Massive crowds show up, but at some point you're supposed to wait there when you're taking that right turn. At some point it's too big for itself. At some point you need to have a little more to it. We'll see. They did see that even though they are stopping the holidazzle, they're still hosting Winteropolis events, whatever that consists of as a whole. I think that's like the Great Northern Fest, they said. And then the Dayton's holiday market is supposed to still be there. But I'm not sure that's a major draw for many people. We'll see.
Wait. Wait. Wait.
See the Mill District sign right there used to be for the used to be an advertisement for what they're planning on doing with that building. This was going to be initially like a 2-tower complex mixed use building, and I think 20 plus stories, like a decently large building. And that got scrapped, and I think current plan is now to have it be a data center, which that's what it used to be. I think they're looking to get it back operating as that. It's going for it. Just run it. Nope. That's 2 straight blocks that we've had people try to make that quick right turn on a green light, both going right in front of pedestrians who have been waiting. The lawless streets of Minneapolis. Dwayne says, has it warmed up in Minneapolis? It's cooler than I think it was last week, but it's still unseasonably warm. I think it's like 50s, mid 50s maybe. Nice and sunny. It was breezy yesterday. Not breezy, straight up windy. And I'm not a fan of wind. But I think it's supposed to heat back up this week. days or so, and then we'll see where we go from there. Well, the Minnesota students out of school this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because of the MEA conferences. So lots of local travel going on. I was looking at going up to Duluth or something during that, or maybe Grand Marais or somewhere in the area, but then I looked at what hotel prices are compared to what they normally are. Whew. They are hopping on that demand, making use of it. Dwayne, I think you said you were in Calgary, if I remember correctly. Or, I remember you were in somewhere that had somewhat of a similar climate. My question for you is, how late do outdoor fountains stay operable there? Edmonton, that's what it was, yeah. How late do the like outdoor fountains in your city and like the bathrooms in your parks stay open during the year? Because here in Minneapolis, one thing I've noticed is they've already started shutting them down. I was out on the parkway for a bike ride yesterday and went to grab a drink of water from the water fountain. It was already shut off. Drummer says every day is a federal holiday. Yeah, currently. Oof. Hopefully with back pay, right? Very unfortunate for our federal employees who are currently in the middle of some political battle. Oh, we got a section of Nicollet Mall closed. What's going on here? Fountains or pools shut off already, Dwayne says, in Edmonton. Too cold. Yeah, pretty much here too. The pools, I agree with. For like reflecting ponds and stuff. Yeah, I get it. But I've heard of some places being able to keep their public bathrooms and stuff open during the winter, which would be nice if we could find a way to do that. They lifted up here. Salam alaikum, brother. Thank you. Minneapolis, beautiful city. I'm from Azerbaijan. Thank you for joining the stream. Glad to show Minneapolis to you. This one's still open for water. Wayne says September is the cutoff for those. Below freezing now in the morning. We'll have highs around 10 Celsius, which is 50 Fahrenheit. Ooh, kind of chilly. I think we started getting some of those frosts and freezes in northern Minnesota, but not quite down here in the city here. But our day will come. Hi from Brainerd, love your live videos. Hey, nice to have you here, glad you're enjoying them. Lifting it up. Where's it going? Most of the leaves on the trees are gone. This is in Edmonton. A few of the a gust of wind just blew them off. A few trees are still green. Yeah, well, we have a late fall here this year. I think because it's been so warm. I think further north, maybe Boundary Waters type area. Those trees are changing more and probably going to be losing their leaves soon, but probably another couple weeks here. Ooh, there's another one of those new buses. 'Wayne said September was very warm. October had a dramatic shift. Yeah, they've both been a little warmer than normal here for us, but I did see that some of those more tundra type places have been getting hit a bit. We will see when it comes to us. It is Minnesota, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's 80 degrees next week. I also wouldn't be surprised if it was a blizzard. It's October through November for you. Minnesota is giving away a e-bike. I think you can enter through their website. If you take like a picture of the bus with that ad on it, I don't know if you're supposed to do a selfie with your face in it or something too. But I saw they're giving away an e-bike, so pray for me to win. I want a free e-bike. There's that corner we were at about 2 weeks ago when they first launched the new speed cameras. It's over there. day they turned them on. That might have been October 1st. I don't know. Yeah, this is Hennepin Avenue, and we are right outside the Minneapolis Central Library. Dwayne says, I've seen where it's 20 Celsius in February, which is 70 Fahrenheit. The weather in Alberta can fluctuate like Colorado does. Yeah. Can be messy, make for some really all over the place roads. Frozen at night, melted in the day. Those are the conditions that can bring some like really heavy snowfall when it's moist like that. Yeah. Cashman bike. We have city elections coming up here in Minneapolis in a couple weeks. Early voting's already started, but actual election day is about, what, 3 or 4 weeks out now? I lived in this neighborhood, I would definitely be voting for Katie Cashman. DJM says, I miss Minneapolis from 20 plus years ago. It was so cool. Yeah, a lot of changes over the last 20, 30 years. Dwayne says, same here with municipal elections. Yeah, a lot of stuff that they've done to try to improve the city. A lot of changes they've made that were set back quite a bit by COVID. A lot of stuff that was set back by remote work. It's a sketchy conversation. Those guys are talking earlier, like looking over this bike, and the guy's like, let me, if you got a phone, I'll tell you what it is, and I can look up what kind of bike this is so you can figure out how to keep it charged, which, not a good sign. DJM says, don't even like going to Timberwolves games anymore. Saw a mugging in a parking ramp. It's unfortunate that that happened and that you're feeling that way. Hope the person who was mugged is alright. Unfortunately, those things do occasionally happen. Statistically speaking, crime rates are fairly reasonable here, lower than you'd see in like most of the cities in like Texas or Florida or anything like that. We just have our crime much more politicized. Dwayne says, cool mural. Yeah, I love Bob Dylan. But yeah, it's I mean, it's unfortunate. We need a society where people aren't mugging each other, right? Like, it's perfectly reasonable to see something like that and say, hey, I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be at risk for getting mugged. From my lived experience, I haven't felt too much unsafety in those sort of areas. I've always had a good safe time at the Timberwolves game, but it just takes one bad event to change your life and make you not want to do the things that you used to do and do the things you used to enjoy. So can't really blame people for being a bit fearful of that stuff. Dwayne says, saw Bob Dylan live in 1990. Oh, I'll bet he was 1990. That was probably a good one still. I'd already made his major changes into his sound, but where his live show got very different a while ago. But I saw him about 7-8 years ago. It was cool seeing Bob Dylan, but I wish I could have seen him when he was at his best. But you know, you take what you can. When the Bob Dylan you get to see is the Bob Dylan that's alive today, you go see that Bob Dylan, because you never know when those chances won't be around anymore. And there are, I'm sure, many young musicians out there right now who are currently playing great music and doing cool stuff, and got to make sure that we're getting out to see them and support them, because someday they'll be the someday some of them will be the legends that people will say, oh, I saw that person in 2025. Dwayne says it was an unplugged type set. Oh, unplugged Bob Dylan. Was that a guitar unplugged or piano unplugged? Either way, would have been cool. I think he's hasn't been able to do guitar for quite a while, right? DJ M said, I saw Paul McCartney at Target Center. Paul McCartney's playing on Saturday or Friday night at US Bank Stadium. I saw tickets for like $30 yesterday, and that's pretty hard to pass up. I know the sound quality at US Bank Stadium isn't the best, but man, $30 to see Paul McCartney is, I don't know if I can pass that one up if I'm around. Dwayne says, absolutely, we have to support live music. Bob was with an acoustic band at that point. Yeah, seeing a cool new live musician is one of my favorite things. Love a good toned down show, love an energetic show. I love live music. It's the best. Always, a great concert is always very energizing. Dwayne says, I saw Paul McCartney live in 2012, got the last ticket to the second show. Very nice. I think that might have been the tour I saw him on. I don't know if it was that one or the next year. It was somewhere in that like 2011 to 2015 range. It was at a festival, Outside Lands Festival in San Francisco, and really cool. He did a great job. So if I can find a ticket to Friday and nothing else comes up on my schedule, I will certainly be there. Hey, DJ M says, I salted that concrete bench you just bought. Where are we at? Back here? Yeah. There we go. Skated. Oh, used to skate downtown a lot. Nice. They, not a ton of skateboarding down anymore. There is typically a couple groups that come out occasionally, but we need to bring back skateboarding. Get these kids skateboarding again, right? There is, yeah, I mean, I very rarely see people skateboarding downtown. Occasionally you'll see a group of like 2 or 3 kids, but not very often. Sometimes at that government plaza, there'll be a kid out there, but not a ton. I think it kind of, I don't want to say fell out of style, but those of us in like the early 90s, or in the 90s, early 2000s, like skateboarding was like bang at that time. You had like Tony Hawk and X Games were taking off. Skateboarding was the sport. Like when all those like more extreme sports started really hitting the mainstream. Skate shops popping up everywhere. The skate parks in all the cities really improved a lot. Now like every city in like the first and second ring of suburbs here in the area has like a fairly decent skate park, it seems, which is great, but like you don't have as much of that coming downtown to skate around anymore, I think. So here's that Sooline building, as promised. I don't remember who asked for it, but that was like 50 minutes ago when I first started the stream. See, someone's already got Christmas lights up, giant Christmas lights. Salam says Skyway City, Minneapolis. There is a pretty big group that comes out and does like a collective skateboarding event every year. It's on Go Skateboarding Day, and they always make a cool video of where they're at. I think they're downtown again this year, and I think they try to do like some portion of it downtown every year. But always awesome to see those large groups of people out hanging out, having a good time, getting active. And Lynn says, if I lived downtown Minneapolis, I'd probably choose Nick on 5th since it's right next to the blue line, green line. You could do the historic Sooline building. Beautiful gem of a building. I don't know about the apartments inside and like the quality of them or the amenities, but I love this building. You're right here on the blue line. You got Nick on 5th right there. You've got Nick 360. Is like the next block up. Lots of great housing downtown. Yeah, need more people living and working downtown. I don't know what the availability is like in these buildings, but need more people living and working downtown to keep it thriving, get it back up to what it was. Well, it'll never be back to what it was. We're never gonna see the shoulder-to-shoulder retail traffic we used to see in like the 90s. Like that day is gone. We gotta let it go. But we can still do some really cool creative stuff with downtown. And it just depends on if we're gonna get ahead of it or if it's gonna keep slowing down and we're gonna keep seeing more vacancy. And sort of historically, how it seems to go is we either get in front of it and get businesses back here, or we keep the vacancy and eventually the artist types will move in and do some cool creative stuff around, and then once that creative stuff starts making people want to come back to the area, then the prices will go up, the artists will get priced out, and the businesses will come back. But we'll see. Either way, would love to see a lot more commercial downtown, just to raise that tax base, just to keep those commercial taxes coming in so that we can get more amenities, get more cool stuff going on in the city, keep our city funded, especially with a United States government that does not want to fund our city and wants to pull, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in funding from us. So we will hopefully be able to get more stuff going on here. Gotta fill those gaps. Yeah, it has been about an hour, so I do need to get back to work before my boss starts wondering where I am, what I'm doing. I don't know, maybe they're in the chat. Is one of you a mole? But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in today. I don't believe I'll be streaming again this week, probably next week. But have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoy Minneapolis or Minnesota content, whatever content may be, as long as you're content with the content, you can like the channel, subscribe to the channel, show it to your friends. If you hate Minneapolis and Minnesota, send it to your enemies. Just send a letter with the URL written in blood to your enemies, and they'll know everything. All right, I don't know what's going on here. All right, I gotta get back to it. Have a good one. Thank you.